Hello friend, I want to tell you about the Fiat Uno car. This Italian car was agile, economical, and above all readily available to almost every Joe. Those who chose it, however, accepted certain imperfections. Has the budget hatchback stood the test of time? How do negative stereotypes compare to reality? The facelifted car was produced not only in Italy and Turkey, but also in Bielsko-Biała and Tychy until 2002. In addition to European countries, the Fiat Uno was also manufactured in Africa and South America, where, after subsequent modifications, it is still sold today. The good old Fiat Uno offers a pretty decent engine lineup. Contrary to popular belief, the powertrains aren't all that bad. This time, I'll start unusually with the diesels. Is there anything to regret? Absolutely not. The Uno's diesel engines did have their advantages, though they were relatively fuel efficient, consuming around 6 to 7 L/100 kilometers, and generally didn't cause any major problems during operation. Everything was fine, but that was until the first problems with the engine components began to arise. While repair costs aren't particularly high, it's still cheaper to buy a petrol engine and pay a bit more for fuel. Furthermore, the flexibility of the diesel versions leaves much to be desired. Among the Uno models available on the used market, most are available with 3 basic engines. The best choice is the most powerful 50 horsepower 1.1-liter engine from the Fire family. While it's not exactly a fire engine, the car takes a whopping 16.4 seconds to reach 100 kilometers per hour. It's a bit more dynamic than less powerful versions. Fuel consumption is also decent. The Uno uses around 8 L/100 kilometers in the city. The Fire version's only drawbacks are oil leaks and occasional component failures. However, if you find a well-maintained one with a less powerful engine, buy it without hesitation. With this Fiat model, the overall condition of the car is more important than the specific engine version. The 1.4-liter engine is another rare engine, offering slightly better performance than the Fire variants, but it suffers from a fragile timing system, specifically a rapidly wearing sprocket. To avoid unpleasant surprises, it's recommended to replace the complete timing belt assembly every 60,000 kilometers. If you're looking to save money, you'll certainly be put off by this engine's high fuel consumption, which can easily exceed 10 L/100 kilometers in city driving. And what about the top-of-the-line engines? The 1.5-liter version, due to its limited popularity, isn't even worth seeking out. But the turbocharged 1.4-liter engine is a true rarity but also elusive. A 0 to 100 kilometers per hour time of just over 8 seconds, a quick throttle response, and an unassuming character make a car with this engine appealing even to the most skeptical. Unfortunately, to buy the top-of-the-line version, you'll have to go searching for it in Western Europe, and such brave souls are likely few and far between. The car didn't make it to the Euro NCAP crash tests, but it certainly wouldn't have received a good rating. On the other hand, it's hardly surprising, considering the design dates back to the early 1980s, and the main priority in its development was to keep the car's sales price low. The front suspension can also be irritating, with metal rubber elements and upper McPherson strut mounts constantly breaking and shock absorbers failing. The drive shafts, steering rods, and wheel bearings are also notoriously unreliable. Any knocking noises while driving will be a good argument for negotiating a lower purchase price. In the front braking system, discs corrode, pistons seize, and rear wheel cylinders lock up. It's also worth paying attention to the gearbox's operation, as internal damage to its mechanism is common. Fiat Uno owners complain about ubiquitous leaks, not only of engine oil, but also of coolant. The electrical system can also be fickle, with corroded contacts effectively impeding proper lighting operation, among other things. Regardless of the version, engine components such as the alternator, starter, and ignition system can also be unreliable. The clutch is also fragile. Fortunately, replacing it and all the accessories only costs a few €100. I wouldn't recommend buying the first Fiat Uno you come across, unless you don't mind having to repair everything at once. The 1.4-liter turbocharged version deserves praise. It's a true rarity, with performance that puts many modern cars to shame. Unfortunately, its flaws are quite noticeable. Low-quality finish, budget-friendly design, meager equipment, poor handling, uncomfortable seats, a Spartan interior, and a plethora of breakdowns are the most off-putting features of this model. However, if you have a small budget and can't afford expensive servicing, the Fiat Uno will do the job well. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and rate my video. If you know of any issues with this car that I haven't mentioned, be sure to share them in the comments.